flying in.
Yep.
On Buddy Airlines.
It's the only way to fly.
So, we've been spending years getting the podcast pub ready.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight's the grand opening.
I like to hear that.
All right, you ready to head over?
Sure am.
Let's do this. All right, before we go, I'm going to go grab this week's movie, and we'll go.
Well, watch out for my gear out there.
What's that?
I said watch out for my gear. My gear out there.
All right, Mike, the podcast pub is right up ahead. Take a look. What do you think?
I think it looks beautiful, Matt, and I can't wait till we get there.
Yeah, looks great. Oh no! I can't believe it! Oh
no! So this is Bob Hoskins week.
Yeah, man. I'm pretty pumped.
Thick as Thieves and The Long Good Friday. So
one of your favorite actors.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And one of my least favorite. Bob Hoskins is the man.
My least favorite. And you picked him. You were like, let's dunk on this idiot.
Well, we already did that when we talked about his Super Mario interview. See our previous episode.
We do that. We talk about that every once in a while because it's so bullshit.
Ridiculous, dude. Yeah. Get real, Bob.
Yeah. Bob. Yeah. Why don't you answer for your crimes? But
yeah, I've been wanting to pick this one for a long time because Long Good Friday, I think, is his magnum opus, his greatest feat as an actor.
Yeah. I think
But I'm curious what you think.
Yeah. We'll definitely get into it for sure. Here in just a little bit. So, we're going to get into the part where I just thank you guys for watching. And that's as simple as it's going to be. If you want to subscribe. If you don't. We just thank you. No pressure. So the polls was actually, I don't know if it was shocking or if it was just kind of, it's just how it was, but nobody has seen either one of these, Thick as Thieves or The Long Good Friday.
Thick as Thieves, I think, is a pretty deep cut. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised about that.
Yeah.
The Long Good Friday also, because I honestly never seen this film either, and not like I've seen every Bob Hoskins film, but,
Yeah, I've known about it.
I don't see it on a lot of lists either, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, just because like crime movies are one of my favorite genres, so any crime movie I'm always interested in. So this one, I've talked about it before.
I think it's one of the better ones.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
In my opinion, it's not opinion.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Should we start with Thick as Thieves?
Yeah. I'm getting ahead of myself.
But before we do that,
wait, I got ahead of myself there.
In honor of Bob Hoskins, a British man, I wanted to try a British snack.
You're Twiglets. Like, I just got one for myself, so you're gonna have to watch me eat it.
I already tried them.
Oh.
Spoiler alert! I've already eaten almost this whole bag. Have you heard of Twiglets?
No. Why don't you tell us?
I saw them at Jungle Jim's, and I've heard about them, but I always wanted to try them.
So what does it say on the pack? What are they, Matt?
Twiglets.
They're not sponsored, but
oven baked, not fried.
Okay. So is this? I'm assuming.
Entertain your senses. Only Twiglets give you that distinctive knobbly shape, combined with a zingy taste and crunchy bite, for all-round sensual satisfaction, baby. Yeah.
Just like Bob Hoskins. So, what is the correlation? Are these from England?
Yes, they're a British snack.
You're like, no, this is from Okinawa, Japan. I'm like, oh, okay. So, what is the whole thing with these? What the fuck? What's the whole thing? What is this?
It's a snack that they eat in England.
Yeah, but it's got like a taste to it. What's
It's kind of a bitter taste.
It's like pretzels with coffee grounds on them or something.
It almost has like a burnt Cheez-It energy to it. You know?
Yeah.
I kind of like them.
So what's your review for those?
I'd say if I had a pint of lager to wash it down, I'd give them a 9.95.
Nice.
Twiglets.
Yeah.
Only on Buddy Shots.
Yeah.
Were you going to have any more?
No. I'm not trying to crap on him, but not
your thing.
Not my thing.
They have a very bitter taste.
Yeah, they taste like very strong, like black coffee or very strong tea, with like no remorse baked into a. I will say, like their crunch taste is very good. They get the it's not you can tell it's baked and not fried.
Huh.
So I'd say I'd probably give it like a 3. Like the crunch is really good, but maybe if I ate more of them, I would maybe get used to it. It's kind of like when you first taste a pickle or mustard. It's like, I think that's something. It's an acquired taste.
I think they have different flavors. This is like the original, so you might like one of the other flavors.
The other flavors are like dog vomit. I wonder what the other flavors are now. That's kind of interesting.
I think they have a barbecue, some others.
Because to me, I was like, if that's the original flavor, what the hell are the other flavors? Like, so I would say you guys should at least try it. I don't know. It was shocking. I don't know what I was expecting, but it doesn't say a specific flavor, and I tasted it and was like, holy shit, this has a flavor, but I don't know what I can really say about it. But thanks for bringing that to the table.
Yeah, always wanted to try them.
Nice. How'd you first hear about them?
Probably on some British movie or show, like Spaced or something like that.
Some movie. They're like, hey, let's try some fucking Twiglets, baby. Yeah! Because that's how British people talk. So, okay, so do you want to move on to Thick as Thieves?
Yes.
You're like, no. You're like, I have another thing. Twiglets Extra. No sugar. So Thick as Thieves, British sitcom, which was broadcast on TV in 1974. And there were only 8 episodes, it says, and it starred Bob Hoskins, John Thaw, and Pat Ashton. The premise of this show is that house burglar George Dobbs, Bob Hoskins, returns home from 3 years in prison to find his best friend has moved into his house with his wife. But loving them both in different ways, he doesn't have the heart to turn either of them out. He turns them out? What is the Action Jackson here?
Nice.
He's like, yeah! He's like, I'm going to turn out my wife and my best friend. Progressive.
My favorite part of the premise, though, is like because he like photobombed this gangster when he like a gang boss when he got out of prison.
So like British humor. Like when I was watching it, it was like, dude, this reminds me so much of like British humor, Mr. Bean kind of thing, where he like there's no dialogue. It's literally he gets out of prison and there's all these people like taking photos, and he's like looking at the guard like, hey, they're here for me, and then like this big tall dude pushes past him, and like they're like here to see this, like you said, this big gangster guy, and he's like
but he's like a very mild-mannered, like nice character, and he like doesn't even
he's
get
too
mad
nice
at his friend to
pretty
like,
much for his own good. I mean, not for his own good, I guess, but he's kind of like
he decides to use like the fact that people are kind of fear him now and think he became hard in prison.
They saw him with like that gangster guy, so they think that he's with him, so he kind of uses it to his advantage.
Yeah, I really like that. So I thought it was a really good premise. Had a few good laughs in there. I'm anxious to watch the rest of it.
This is really not weird, but like I think this is a Bob Hoskins thing, but he's like a big lip licker, because in this and even in the other film, like he sees a brawl in the window and he's like, I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, is he hungry?
Yeah, he's like, nope. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, lots of mouth play with Bob.
Yeah. So yeah, like pretty much he gets home and his wife has been like had an affair with his best friend that started literally like a year before he got out, I think. Mm-hmm. And he's pretty much just like, the fuck, this is bullshit or whatever. And his wife's like, he's staying here as well and stuff, and he tries to kick him out, and then he gets hurt, and then he's like, now he has to stay here. And I was just like, damn, dude. Sucks to be Bob. I mean, he's not like super pissed, but he is kind of pissed. I don't know. The wife kind of was pissing me off because she was just like telling him to eat shit, essentially. And he was just like taking it. I was like, damn, dude.
It'd be interesting to see how it evolves.
Yeah.
Do you plan on watching more, or was one episode good enough to get
I don't know. I
taste
mean,
of it?
maybe. I mean, the problem is I'm not sure how to find the rest of the episodes because it's like literally you buy it physically or like I couldn't even find this. Like I found it on YouTube the first episode. Surprisingly, someone uploaded the whole first episode, but I don't think the rest of them are on there. They might be, but I'll have to check and see. But it's just I
got the DVDs pretty cheap. I think it was like $12. But it's on 2 discs for some reason. Like you couldn't fit 8 episodes on one disc.
Yeah,
like, wow.
Because there's no special features,
Yeah.
so it's like. But Bob Hoskins does a commentary on every episode.
Dude, I wish.
Has he ever done a commentary?
I don't know.
Good question that I asked. I applauded myself.
You're like, thanks, me.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. But yeah.
My only other note is that at one point he does a really good spit take, like one of the best I've ever seen, where he's like drinking and this the tea like splashes up on his face. Yeah. I don't think I've seen that kind of spit take before. That was hilarious.
When he spits on his face. My only other note was this premise is pretty fucked up.
It kind of is.
It's like the cuckold's horns.
Yeah.
He wore the burglar's horns. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we watched it.
Yeah, I am too. It wasn't something like I was definitely. It was interesting. It was kind of weird seeing him in a TV show.
Yes, because we really think of him as like a movie star.
Yeah, but I mean, it was welcome. I think if Bob Hoskins was still alive today, he would be. Well, how old would he be now? I don't know.
Let's see.
But regardless, I think like he would definitely have done movies.
He would be 80.
He would have done TV shows because you see all these big like movie stars have kind of like moved over to doing like premiere TV and stuff. Like what's his face, Kevin Costner and
Stallone.
Yeah, Longhorn or whatever it's called. Or not Longhorn, that's the restaurant, right? Well, Yellowstone. Longhorn.
He's doing that show, Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, Texas Roadhouse. He's like.
Even Harrison Ford's slumming it on TV.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because he's doing the Yellowstone prequel, right? Bob Hoskins would have been in like the Yellowstone like caveman days as a hedgehog with his shirt off.
He has to have played a caveman at some point.
Yeah, dude. I think that was something I saw online that like people were saying like Bob Hoskins has his shirt off in a surprising number of his film roles. I honestly can't remember a movie where he doesn't have his shirt off. Because I think he has his shirt off in Super Mario Brothers at one point. He has his shirt off in Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
He has his shirt off in this film.
That's right.
I think there's a part in that family comedy.
I thought he was wearing a shirt
off.
Yeah!
Does he have his shirt off in Hook?
I don't know. Now I'm second guessing.
But it's just so... It happens all the time. It's like... Anyway.
Hey.
I'm not complaining.
If you got the goods. If you got it, flaunt
I'm really not complaining because I really need the work. But no. Bob Hoskins has his shirt off. He's like Austin Powers, bitch.
Yeah.
Hairy like animal.
Yeah.
So Long Good Friday is a 1980 British gangster film directed by John McKenzie from a screenplay by Barry Keefe starring Bob Hoskins, Helen Mirren, a bunch of other people including a young...
Pierce Brosnan
007
in his first role.
007.
One of his first roles. He says one word in this. Do you remember what it was?
Mama.
Hi.
Hi.
For Pierce Brosnan as first Irishman.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, man. Check on his IMDb.
He's memorable.
Is that his first role?
In this movie?
But set in London, the storyline weaves together events and concerns of the late 1970s, including mid-level political and police corruption. The supporting cast features Eddie Constantine, Dave King, Brian Marshall, Derek Thompson, Paul Freeman, and Pierce Brosnan in his film debut.
Yep.
And it pretty much tells the tale of like a Tony Soprano essentially guy. I mean, pre-Tony Soprano, obviously, but like Bob Hoskins is Harold.
Gangster boss.
Yeah. And as he's trying to get a huge real estate deal that will link hands across the ocean. And some shit
with the
down.
Yanks.
Yeah. The stuff goes down over a long bad Friday. But it's over a Good Friday, like the what's it called? The holiday.
Yeah, the title always intrigued me because I was like, what does that even mean? The Long Good Friday? Like it was a Friday that was good?
Yeah, before I watched the film, Friday. I was like, this makes no fucking sense. The Long Good Friday. Yeah. It's like the weirdest title.
It's
like literally like Mad Libs or some shit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, Good Friday is like a thing. they're saying like the long comma.
Yeah.
Or, well, I guess it wouldn't be comma. Would it just be like the long Good Friday?
You're right about one thing. The Good Friday was long.
Yeah. But it was a bad Friday.
It was for Harold.
Yeah. That's it. Everybody else loved it.
That went in my nose.
It's like, huh? So my first note is music is what you would hear almost in like an Italian horror film.
Yeah, like a very driving synth score.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I enjoy the score in this movie a lot.
Yeah, the main...
But it also has like sexy saxophone, baby. Yeah!
The main theme they have is probably the best part.
Yeah.
For
it's
sure
cool.
About this. I almost said this whole film. I was like, oh. I was like, the best part of the film was the end credits.
You literally said that one time.
Yeah. What was it about?
I forget which movie it was. But
it was just recently, too.
Oh, it was Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Oh, because the music was so good, yeah. It sounded like a knock against the film, but it wasn't. I tried not to be.
This movie was produced by Handmade Films, which was George Harrison's company.
Oh, nice.
Which it sounds like he wasn't super pleased with this movie because it was too violent for his tastes.
What do you expect
out
of a fucking gangster film?
Do you think it was the butt cheeks getting cut?
That part was cracking me up, even though it was horrifying.
Butt cut?
Yeah. A butt gets cut. I don't know. That's kind of funny because I saw another trailer from Bob Hoskins' career where he did another film under Handmade Pictures.
Was it Brazil, maybe?
I can't remember.
I think it was Brazil.
But I was just like, okay, I never heard of this company before.
Yeah.
What happened with that? Because you don't see Handmade Films anywhere now, do you? So
I'm not sure.
They go under, or
they must have.
Yeah.
But I know they produced like Time Bandits was a big one.
Oh, okay.
Which
he's like, I hated that film because it wasn't violent enough. It's like, George, what the fuck?
Make up your mind, George.
Yeah. Dude in turtleneck smiles like a freak, pocketing money. Italian style grass reverb, like in Lee Marvin movie. Oh, glass reverb. Yeah, the glass like when it breaks or whatever. It does like a reverb when those dudes like poke their guns or whatever through the thing. And it's like from Lee Marvin or like that one movie where he's walking and it just keeps going. It was like an echo that reverbed a bunch. These notes. Guy walk outside and gets hijacked. Dudes left at side of road. Rip. Jesus!
There you go.
Like the most minimalistic notes.
Yeah, it takes a while to like figure out what the heck's going on in this movie because it kind of jumps around to start out with.
That was something in the commentary he was talking about. Was he's like, yeah, I used to have like a cut of this where like you followed the briefcase for like a long time, and then I don't know who it was told him to like cut all that extra bullshit out because you didn't really need it, and he was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, the plot is a little bit convoluted, but ultimately it doesn't really matter.
At the beginning, I mean, it's kind of like you really don't know what the fuck is going on. Because your main character hasn't even shown up, so you're like, I mean, well, if you're watching the movie for the first time and you're going to the theater, you wouldn't know who the fuck is who anyway. You wouldn't know if Bob Hoskins is the main character unless, I guess, you read the paper and saw, like, you know, or, like, I don't know, maybe if you had information, like, you saw the poster, maybe, like, you would assume he was one of the main characters, but you never know.
But when he does make an entrance, a private entrance, it was very cool.
That's my next thing. Bob is on the scene. Yeah, good old Bob.
What did you think of his white suit?
I like, all of his stuff.
Do you think that'll ever come back in fashion, like an all-white suit, 80s style?
I'm pretty sure I've seen people wear those at like weddings before. Like the groom and everybody has their stuff, but just as a general thing, people really don't wear suits. People used to wear suits all the time, just in general. But like, I think people tend to go more towards comfort now than to like more towards fashion to a degree. Like to me, if it was comfortable, I would wear a suit like 24/7. But like, they're not super comfortable. At least for me, they're not. So
But Bob makes his look good.
But I love wearing suits. They're not comfortable. Like I wouldn't lounge around in a suit. but Bob does in this. He
pulls it off.
Yeah. He just kind of does it. I mean, it's Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I like him. He's also got a yacht that he's chilling on.
Yeah.
And he's like kind of talking to like, I guess this is his like partner or wife or whoever, but it kind of comes across as like his business manager too, because she's the person that like keeps him like grounded. Like she's not
like the gangster's mall,
right? She's not like in The Sopranos where like his wife is not like she's part kind of knows, but like she's keeps herself out of it. Like she's the person that like essentially keeps him from doing stupid shit. Like he has like the presence and stuff on the scene, but like he can do like stupid shit and ruin everything.
Yeah, I mean this movie is basically him totally losing control of his entire empire and ultimately like paying the ultimate price. So it's interesting. That's unusual for a movie to see a guy like failing his way all the way down to the bottom. But that's what this movie's about. It's about a boss who like lost touch with his people and they screwed up, and now he has to pay the price, and it's too late. It's very interesting.
Boss baby.
What did you think of Helen Mirren?
She was really good as the lady that was in control of his rage until the end.
Yeah, she's great in this.
Yeah. Everybody's kissing the feet of Christ. I'm guessing that's like something that you do on Good Friday or when you go to church, because they had like a scene where people were like kissing the feet of a Christ that's crucified statue. I'm not like Catholic, so I've never gone to like anything like that, so I don't know I guess that's a thing that they do. Interesting. 15 minutes and 4 seconds. 007 is checking out Belloc. So, yeah, he's in this movie, Belloc.
Paul Freeman,
yeah,
most famous for Belloc, in Raiders.
Yeah,
but he's pretty good in this. Although his part's he gets cut short.
He
pretty
doesn't
quick.
really do much, other than get destroyed.
But he's always good to see him.
He plays a homosexual, like lieutenant, or essentially like next in line under Bob Hoskins, and he was like in the military with Bob Hoskins, and he gets killed because like Bob Hoskins, or well, essentially to get at Bob, but like he gets tricked into thinking that like Pierce Brosnan wants to like sleep with him, and he gets killed like in a pool, like stabbed to death and left for dead.
It was horrifying. But the part where Bob Hoskins like finds out and kind of gives that monologue about their friendship is like one of my favorite parts of this movie. That was so good. And that's when Bob is like firing on all cylinders, just nailing it, this movie.
Yeah, there's a weird ADR when Bob gives his speech. Someone goes, that's right. So it's like someone moaning like in ecstasy the way he says that's right. I'm like, is that necessary? And then they blow up another dude, Eric or whatever.
That car bomb was amazing. Like I don't know how they did that. Like it was really like perfect editing.
He said that like people get pissed when they see that scene because it was like a really nice car,
like a Rolls Royce, that they actually blew up.
Yeah. And he was like, we didn't actually blow up a whole car, and then he's like, actually we did. And I was like, what?
That reminded me of you remember the beginning of Casino where Robert De Niro gets blown up in a car?
Maybe I haven't seen that.
It's one of the worst, like most laughably terrible. Because like there's like 2 frames where he turns into a dummy before it blows up, and it's very bad. And then it made me remember that movie Mafia. It was like a spoof of. They spoofed that scene where like he gets blown up, and in Casino the opening credits are like he's flying through all these like explosions and stuff. And they did the same thing in Mafia, except he's flying and like he dunks a basketball.
Yeah,
like so funny.
Yeah, that movie's awesome.
Yeah, Mafia is hilarious. But anyways, good car bomb is the point.
But yeah, it's like you kind of don't know what's going on, but you kind of find out throughout the film that that's kind of the hallmark of like these people, like the what they say, like the IRA or something,
the Irish
IRA or something, and they're like can't. They're like a terrorist organization, so you can't really. They're not like another, bunch of gangsters, so you can't really like. He was like, you can't really reason with these people. You just gotta like, or you can't outmatch them. You gotta like make a deal with them essentially.
But my favorite line in that monologue is when he's like, Colin never heard a fly.
Yeah.
Well, only when it was necessary. He was like a killer.
Yeah.
He never heard a fly.
I'll have his cock dripping blood by midnight. I was like, did I hear that right? Because that's kind of an issue I had with some of the parts in this film. Is like sometimes when Bob Hoskins says stuff, like I couldn't understand what the fuck he was saying.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't that, but I don't remember what it was. But hey, maybe I misheard it.
Yeah. Because that's when he was talking about when he finds out who the guy is. He's like, I'll have his cock dripping blood by midnight. I was like, I don't know if that's what he said. But I can't say it's not what he said because I don't know what the fuck he said. Yeah. Bob sees Colin's body, tries not to cry. And how he saved Bob's life in the army.
Yep, great monologue.
They found another bomb at the casino, but it didn't go off. He says, who's having a go at me? The guy that's like his muscle, like the driver with the mustache, he's probably like the greatest looking guy in this game, in this movie as far as like, not like attractive, but I mean just like his look is so
You mean
good.
P.H. Moriarty as Razors?
That's a great name,
You're
too.
telling me there's a character named Razors?
P.H. Moriarty is a great name. But he's got like a total great look in this film.
Definitely. I knew I recognized him, so I looked him up.
He's a total Bond
He was
villain,
in
right?
Outland. Remember, he's one of the assassins.
Yeah, he's a total like. It's kind of a shame they never cast this guy as like a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Because he's better than a lot of the Bond villains we got.
He's definitely got a memorable look.
Yes, he's big. He's like looks sophisticated, but he doesn't fuck around.
I'll have his carcass dripping blood by midnight.
Okay. Well, at least it sounds it's the same kind of. Well, not the same.
I think I turned on subtitles for this.
Did you? Okay. You know how much that's going to be in 1989? Billions. I'm like, why make billions when we could have millions?
Move to the car, Billy, or I'll blow your spine off. Never heard that before.
It's like possible.
The writing in this movie is outrageous. Like,
makes no sense. Your spine off, like not out. I'm like, I blew it off. 14 minutes or 41 minutes and 3 seconds is where that freaky cover came from. I'm like, good lord, what the fuck are these notes? I don't understand what that means. I was like, I understood what it meant at the time, obviously, but that freaky cover, baby. Bob's not a fan of drugs, so like he sees like the lady, like
lady,
a nice lady. He's like, why don't you take some more drugs? But like he essentially like sees her like with this dude and is just like, why don't you shoot up some more, motherfucker? Like, and they cut a butt.
Cut.
Yeah. Weird butt cutting torture.
Butt torture.
Yeah. They're essentially every time the guy doesn't give the answer he wants, like they like slap his butt with red paint. They really don't even like show it either. Yeah. Thank God.
I mean, basically the plot of this movie is Bob Hoskins,
good old Billy,
trying to figure out like who's
fucking
messing up his gang.
Yeah.
So he rounds up all the usual suspects and hangs them upside down. Threatens to kill him,
but
and
doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that he's not like he's like a piece of shit, but he's like better than a Tony Soprano. Like because like there's this part where like they drive away from where like these like where he tortured that dude, and like it's kind of in like a bad neighborhood because like the people were doing drugs and all that stuff, and he pretty much as they drive away he says like these people deserve something better than this. Mm-hmm. So it's like he has some empathy because I think he's like he knows that he came from that kind of thing, and he's just like, I think if it was up to him, he would probably try to give everybody the money they needed and stuff because he gets compensation to people that get killed or under him, like, well, not to the people that die, but to like the widows or that kind of thing.
Yeah, and his
I mean, at
plan
the end of the
is
day, he was still a piece of shit.
Yeah,
but,
for sure. But he was trying to go legit, and like he did
Yeah.
have some morals, like you
Right.
said. Like he's like,
He's
don't
like-
crucify people, not on Good Friday.
Yeah,
Like,
he's like not. He's against drugs. He's like, you know.
but what'd you think of the podcast pub? Dude, that pub was so awesome.
It's bullshit because we were about to go there and it got blown up.
I wish that was like a real place because I'd love to. It looked so cool, and they built that building just to be blown up.
Oh wow!
Did he say that on the commentary?
Yeah,
Yeah, like that was.
I don't think
something
so.
they built just
He
specifically
just
to bomb
described the scene, and I was like, okay.
It's weird though. It's like so thin. It's like 3
Yeah.
rooms just on top of each other.
It's like the pizza tower.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it was really cool.
That place was cool, but then like after a while, they wouldn't let you go up to a certain point in the
Up in
pizza
the tower.
tower because I don't know if it was like fucking falling apart or they just had nobody staff there.
I think that was just like Anthony Munoz's personal like dungeon.
He put people up there and tortured
But it
them.
had a really cool like statue of a lion and a unicorn.
Yeah.
On top, I was like, dude.
He whipped them with
place was cool.
licorice whips. He's like, "You're going to hell." Anthony Munoz is probably the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he does put people up in the pizza tower and fucking, even though it's not there anymore, is it?
No.
He puts them in the oubliette and fucking cuts their heads off. It makes their cocks bleed. Nobody knows anything about the bombs and killings, so he's just like. Yee. So he tells all of his dudes to round everybody up, and like he's like, guys, don't fucking kill anybody, and they're like his dudes are just
Thugs.
yeah.
I love the scene where Helen Mirren basically has to put their minds at ease of like the Americans
Yeah.
because like they see all this stuff going wrong and they're like,
Yeah.
hey, what's going on here?
And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool scene. Plus another cool location because like the ceiling was a mirror.
Yeah, that's very of that era too. So there's a part here where like this was like the first kind of. I mean, I kind of already had feelings that like the second in command guy or whatever, like his one dude, like
Jeff.
yeah, was like kind of not on the up and up, but this was like
That's
kinda,
interesting that you say that because I'd seen this movie before and I
Yeah.
knew that he was like one of the basically guys that betrayed him. And knowing that, there's like lots of little they keep cutting to him when like things
Yeah,
keep
like
going
his
wrong.
reactions
So
or
it's
something,
interesting
yeah.
that you picked up on that on the first
Well,
watch.
I also thought it was kind of weird because he kept praising him so much, and I've seen so many of these things where it's like, okay, it's usually I've played all like a bunch of these Yakuza games, like where it's like the series or whatever, where like there's almost always like one person that you think is like on that person's side, and then at the end it's like actually I was the person that was behind all this or whatever because they didn't see the bigger picture or something. But like this guy, and then this was definitely something that kind of threw it off, where he pretty much goes up to like Bob Hoskins' like wife or girl, and is like, I want to look every inch of you, and she's like, I'm gonna go to my room now, like she's kind of like denies him or whatever, and it's kind of like, obviously she didn't say anything to like Bob Hoskins about it, but like, well, I mean his character, not Bob. She's like, can you believe this actor said his dialogue to me? And he gets pissed and kills him. But that was something where I was just kind of like, that's a major like betrayal to Bob when like Harold, I guess Bob Hoskins, Harold has been like treating him like a son essentially the whole time, and it's like it reminded me a lot of like. I mean, I'm sure if they watched this, they probably got it from this. Was like Tony Soprano and Christopher.
Yep,
For sure. Major
it ends the same way.
betrayal. Yeah. So hanging dudes upside down in Meat Locker, but they didn't do it. It was the IRA.
The abattoir.
And he's like, okay, well, send them home with like money and stuff, so they don't like go to the cops and stuff. And they give him the spa treatment or whatever they say. Like, Bob comes home without any info, and and his wife or whatever is like, Harold, I don't want to die. Don't let them kill us. And it's like, I was like, good Lord, that's a very like, it's something you don't really see in a lot of like gangster films where like both the guy in charge and like his wife are like actually
Super scared,
and they're actually acknowledging that like what they're doing could get them killed.
Yeah.
Usually a lot of these, they glorify, like, you know what I mean? I think that's why a lot of people are like, oh, you know, this and that is so great, because they miss the point that it's like, they glorify it, but like, it's also not some, you know.
Yeah, and it just makes it so much more interesting, because like this is why it's a great character, and Bob Hoskins plays it so well, is because like, yeah, he's the badass gangster boss, but he's also like super scared. He's afraid, and he's confused. Like he doesn't understand what's happening.
As big as the highs were, the lows were so much worse.
But that was the scene I sent you the clip, because like he's comforting her,
like
it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, and then it cuts to like high explosives. I'm like, dude, nice foreshadowing.
The Skyline Factory. Random lady chases a dog up a roof, and a dude was crucified to the floor. I didn't really understand what the fuck happened here. It was just like, it was like a what was it? A sequence of like lucky fucking instances where that dog literally just went straight to that guy. It was like, what? I thought that was kind of weird. But they like find this dude like crucified to the floor. But I just thought it was weird how it came about.
Yeah.
It wasn't like somebody randomly went in there, like the lady, to like clean the place, or to like a homeless person went in there to like shack up for the night and found him. It was literally a dog just went in there and like ran. Was that like his like
Deus
owner?
Ex dog in there?
Yeah, it was like, was that his owner or what? It was like
I didn't even
the
think
fucking
about that.
pigeon that like points out where fucking what's his face is hiding. Yeah, it's like, okay.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're right.
I'm not like crapping. I just thought it was kind of it was such a long scene too, where it was just kind of kept going, and I was like, huh. So that dog deserves a medal, I guess, for saving that guy.
How about the scene where Harold confronts Jeff on the boat?
I put, is Jeff the real bastard?
He's a real bastard.
Yeah, Jeff hired a driver for Colin that pretty much got killed in the intro. And then he like grills him on like, why did you have him do like pretty much like a grunt job? You could have had anybody do that. Why'd you have like my best friend do that? And essentially it's like, you know, he's like, Jesus Christ, British Army's been dying up there with shit flying at them from all angles for the last 10 years, and you're not impressed? They can take over here anytime they want. And he's like, you know, he starts flipping out. He's like, shut up, shut up. And he's like, you won't stop them. He says, to them, you're nothing. The shit on their shoes. And he like breaks a bottle over his head and like essentially stabs him in the throat and kills him.
It's pretty shocking.
Yeah, he's pretty like, I think once he does it, he's shocked because he's like, he gave into his rage, and it's like Jeff is in bed with these dudes, but it's also like, I don't know if he really wanted to like kill him. It was like one of those things where like he was more he like was killing the messenger. Like he was trying to like kill the people that did that, but he got like blinded by rage.
Yep. It's pretty violent.
What do you think about the part where like before that, where like Bob slaps the fuck out of a raving woman, and then she like, because she's like, my fucking husband, no, you know, at the grave, and he's like, "Bleh." And then he's like, actually, I'll give you money. I'm sorry. I was like,
I think Sean Connery wrote that scene.
That interview with Barbara Walters. Do you still think that a woman should be? He's like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, double down.
Yeah.
He's taking a shame shower, burning the clothes. He burned his clothes because they were fucked. Yeah, pretty much they burn his clothes that have all the dude's blood on them and stuff. Get rid of the evidence and everything. It's like Helen Mirren and I think like Mustache Dude. Fuck that. Moriarty's a better name. Why didn't he use his real name? Because he wrote the script.
What do you think PH stands for? Pretty hot.
Penis hurt. Because he's been cutting cocks or whatever.
Nice.
I wonder what PH does stand for, actually.
We'll never know.
Yeah. We definitely could look it up online. Does it say? So More Bob without a shirt on. Counselor Harris is fucked. There's a sniper or whatever. Like,
dude, that scene was so awesome when a dude gets shotgunned and he flies out a window and then he gets run over by a car.
This was like the most ridiculous thing I think I've seen in a movie.
That was great.
That wasn't like a ridiculous action film. It was like
a dude getting super killed.
It was. I think it was supposed to be funny, but like
it was hilarious.
A dude rushes into the box and shotguns two dudes out the box, and a guy gets run over and is on fire. It's like, is this a comedy now?
Yeah. It's like, who's driving that car? Steven Seagal? Like, overkill.
Yeah. The deal is off. No more American partners. So essentially, like, he comes back and the dude's like, you know, we don't go to bed with gangsters. And he's just like, dude, you guys are the same as me. You're acting like you're fucking all high and mighty.
Right.
Like,
that's another great scene.
Yeah.
At one point, he calls him a long streak of paralyzed piss. What a line.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't understand what that meant, but I was like, okay. I guess the piss is like just a puddle. Maybe that's what he meant.
Or an icicle. If it's paralyzed.
Well, if it's... Yeah.
I don't know. It was something.
Paralyzed means frozen. I guess it does, right? So...
One more great line cracks me up. He says... He's talking about how great England is. How it's better than America. And he's like, England has given the world culture, sophistication, genius. A little bit more than an hot dog. That's so hilarious.
Was hot dog even an American invention?
I don't know.
He's just like, I know about hot dogs because I'm going to get a penis bleed. So 007 has Bob at gunpoint. And I said, uh-oh, he should have done the deal. It's like, so essentially, like, he thinks that he's, like, won because he, like, kills these people. But it's like, he doesn't understand that, like, just because he killed those people, there weren't going to be people above them.
Yeah, the IRA's still out to get him.
Yeah, because it's, like, not, it's like, it's an organization, but it's, like, it's kind of like, what's it called in the Bond movies, like, Spectre or something, or Smersh or whatever. Where it's like there are other people, so if you fuck up something, you know, there'd be other people out there. They're essentially like a worldwide or a terror organization, and he gets into his car and they drive off, and he's like, "What the fuck?" He's essentially like, they're gonna go take him and destroy his ass.
What did you think of the ending?
It's good. I'd seen stuff like this before in very few other things, like where. Essentially, like, the hero who is really, like, a villain at the end of the film, like Death Notes like that, where, like, you end up seeing the person thinks they won, and it's, like, a complete reversal, and they get, like, destroyed, essentially, like, killed, and it's, like, holy shit. It's definitely, it's, like, a last-second thing, too, where it's just, like, it's a gut punch.
Yeah.
But, they do a really good job of it in this, too, where they, like, they play it out and stuff, and they also don't show what happens. They just, obviously it's implied, but like he fucking John Wicks it and like escapes. But like he goes through like all the range of emotions and stuff, and they keep on it. It's like, it's funny because in a lot of times in films, like, I'll watch something and be like, man, they should have cut this, because of, like, from an editor's mind, like, I'll be like, man, this did not work, you know, like, they should have cut here instead of holding on a shot, but here it was like they couldn't have held any less or any longer. It was like the perfect amount of time.
It's totally perfect.
I mean,
I think this is my favorite ending of any movie ever. Like, watching a close-up of Bob Hoskins' face acting his ass off is like more exciting than any special effect. It's like magic. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, what a moment. Totally worth watching this movie just for the ending.
What a moment. But he is fucked. That's my last note.
Yeah.
He's
he realizing
is fucked. It's like, wow, what poetry. He's fucked. So do you have any other notes? I have some stuff from the commentary that I'm going to go into once.
I think I covered everything.
You did? Okay, well then I don't need to say anything. So he talks about a group called Sky that had like John Williams and the guy that did the score from this in it.
Oh,
and I was
really?
like, oh, that sounds pretty awesome. the original intro was way more elaborate for the origins of the suitcase.
Probably didn't need that.
Yeah, it's funny. He kind of like describes what happens in the film scene by scene, and by funny I meant not entertaining. He said he's like a sleazebag as the counselor. As a person, he's great. So he's talking about the guy that played the counselor, like the actor. And I was like, why'd you have to say that?
Yeah, nice.
I was like, huh? He said it's like, this is something I never actually thought about because I'd never heard like somebody talk about this, but this makes total sense because even me like editing the podcast weekly and stuff, this is kind of like what, you know, when we did like Whirlwind Renaissance, I'd seen the film like so many times and stuff, and he's like, yeah, like I've seen the film probably like 400 times going through editing it, press, test, like audiences, and he would wait for the first big laugh of the film and duck out and go to the pub because he'd seen it so many times and he's just like, I don't need to see this again. Not like he hates it, but it's like, you know.
Yeah.
And then like him and Bob Hoskins went to like and watched it in New York, I guess, and like nobody laughed because that's when they usually like duck out. But I guess like the Americans were like, they didn't get like the humor at first, like now they do. But like he said that like at the time it was like people were more respectful or like something like that, and they didn't want to like laugh or something. And they were and like, so when they were about to get up and like go to the pub for that first laugh and nobody laughed and they sat back down and they were like, shit, because they were like scared that like the film was gonna suck because they were like, damn,
maybe their accents were just too thick. They couldn't understand what they were saying.
Everybody in the audience was like,
need subtitles.
So yeah, I think my last kind of like thought about this is that like, I think this is like Bob Hoskins like probably best performance, but I still think like for me like his best film I've seen is like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But
I thought you were gonna say Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah. But that's just because I think like overall the performances overall are like, you know, pretty great in that too. Even though the acting in that film is really great as well because he has to act against like effects.
And when I was a little kid, I didn't even know he was British. Like,
yeah. I mean, like that's another thing too. Is like he's
good American accent.
He's doing an American accent. He's acting against like things that aren't there, but you believe they're there, and he conveys like sadness and all kinds of stuff. I mean, obviously, like the very end and like almost pretty much any time he gives speeches or like conveys emotions in this, he gets to be a lot more rangeful. Really, like the only time he is in that movie is like when he kind of like starts drinking and is thinking about his brother and stuff. So
yeah, but he, much like Michael Caine in Muppet Christmas Carol, like he
treats it like it's a actual thing, which
yes.
I think that's why. Not that I'm trying to like downplay this film because I think they're both awesome. I think that's just a testament to how great Bob Hoskins is because he doesn't treat it like it's a fucking joke. It's like he can go from something like this, which is like he's with all, you know, real people and it's a serious matter, to something like Who Framed Roger Rabbit that's like, yeah, it's a murder, but like he's dealing with like cartoons and stuff like that. So like you said, Michael Caine in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
In Muppet Christmas Carol. That's why it's so good.
Yeah.
It's awesome. They're both
legit. I mean, Bob Hoskins he's great in everything.
He's so good.
A couple other call-outs are what's the movie with him and Jet Li?
Oh, Danny the one where he keeps him as like a fucking slave or something?
He's really great in that.
And is it like Unleashed?
Unleashed.
Yeah.
I think it was also called Danny the Dog in England, maybe.
Huh.
But also, he was nominated for one Oscar for a movie called Mona Lisa, which is also very good. He's never won.
That's fucked up.
But that movie is also good, but it's more of like a romantic drama, and I just respond to crime.
It's funny because he like, I've seen him in like, or not seen him in, but like when looking at his IMDb, that's something that he ended up doing a lot of, was like romantic, kind of like he was like the opposite in a lot of those kinds of films.
He can do it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out Bob Hoskins.
He can be a detective or he can be a crime boss. That's the true test. Or a pirate. Yeah, because I believe him in both roles.
Yeah.
So,
but this is a 9.95 for me. Amazing movie. One of the best performances you'll see.
Yeah, unless you're blind. That was horrible. But true. You give this movie 2 thumbs down?
Oh, no!
Oh, shit. Why would you do that? I'm like, you're like 9.95 negative.
You edit it so I don't say that. I'm just like...
I'm like...
So what do you give this movie?
Yeah! I'm like, Mr. Simpson, no! I'm like, stop it. Stop getting closer to me, Matt. You're like... Yeah, I probably... I don't know what I'm going to give it. I give it a 8.95.
Nice.
And I'm not trying to compare it to anything, but like that's usually when I look at like films of one actor and they're the star. Like that's kind of how I gauge it. So I'm like I put up against like I was gonna say Mario, but like Who Framed Roger Rabbit's obviously. Did I give Mario 9.95?
Yes.
So this movie's worse than Mario. It's not worse. It's just lower. Mario does not deserve a 9.95 though. That was nostalgia. I think if I had to actually rate it, I'd give it like a 7.
So still excellent, but just not perfect.
Yeah, well, it is excellent. It's the excellence of execution.
All right, so what's on tap for next week?
I'm like Super Mario Brothers.
Nightmare.
I'm like, get ready for more Mario notes because they just came out with like the Super Edition or whatever. Can you believe that? I think that's kind of become like a cult classic now.
Oh, yeah. It has its merits.
Yeah.
See our previous episode.
Yeah. Oh, good timing. So, on this podcast, we've talked and watched about Sam Raimi and stuff. We watched a bunch of his film. Well, what do we watch? Like Darkman?
And A Simple Plan.
Yeah.
And Quick and the Dead.
Yeah. So, next week, I want to do what I think...
Don't do it.
What? Okay, I was like, what I think, like...
Sam Raimi's a
Yeah.
stud.
I think he's done quite a lot of great stuff, but I think for me, this is kind of like his... Besides, like, the Evil Dead movies, this is kind of like his standout thing for me. And I want to watch and talk about, see if they still hold up, Spider-Man 1 and 2. With
Double feature.
Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin and Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus.
All right.
I think those are pretty... From what I remember, 2 is better, and but both performances were really good. So, I don't know. Hopefully... I don't know. I know, like, we've kind of talked about it in the past, not being a huge fan of superhero films, so hopefully this isn't this isn't, like, torture for you. But I don't remember if you like these films or not.
We'll find out. I've only seen each of them once back when they first came out.
It's funny. I was looking up the other day about like the biggest selling DVDs, and that's what reminded me. This is like, I think the second or third best selling DVD of all time is Spider-Man 1.
Didn't you get a super special edition of it?
I have it.
I'll
bring it next week.
I remember going to the mall to get that.
Yeah, I have it still like next to my 2 neon Nintendo signs that don't work anymore in my basement. So I'll have to bring it over and we can look at it for like 1 second and then throw it away.
All right.
Cool. Well, I guess that'll be next week. So I guess until next time, everybody.
Why are we doing Spider-Man 3?
Do you really want to watch that?
No. I saw it once and that was
I saw it in
enough.
theaters and it was like... So quick story about that. I saw Spider-Man 3 in theaters and I think like... A little bit around that time, the other movie I saw in theaters was Tim Burton's Willy Wonka.
So you had a horrible day.
And I was like, what the fuck is
Kill me.
going on? Yeah, so I know
Yikes.
that movie has its like people that like it, but I absolutely do not like Tim Burton's Willy Wonka. So, yeah. So, I know that has nothing to do with Spider-Man, but Spider-Man 3 was just not good. So anyway, so let's go ahead and just end this right now.
Until next time,
Yeah.
we're going to have verbals.
What's that mean?
That's what Bob Hoskins keeps saying in Long Good Friday.
Does that mean like
We're
a
gonna have
conversation?
verbals.
Is that a conversation? Okay, I was like, okay. We will have verbals, yeah. So, see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
So what do you give this movie? But this is
I'm
ultimate.
badass. I'm like, okay.
Thanks for flying in all the way across the ocean.
Yeah, no problem.
So we've been working.
Go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like we can store something while we're driving from the back seat.
Yeah.
Shoot, I guess we should both be in the back seat, right?
It's not a big deal. I'll just come in the front seat if it looks better. It'll be like us in the back and us in the front. Okay, maybe this won't work because we're too close.
We're just like, hey, how's it going?
Holy shit!
I think it looked pretty good with you in the back seat.
What do I do?
We're just gonna improv.
Oh, sweet. Just like Steven Seagal, the master of improv.
All right, the podcast pub is up around. What happened to the light?
I think it like timed out or something. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm like, meow.
You ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Holy shit!
Whoa! What just happened? What happened?
It's pretty obvious.
I fucked up.
What just happened? I saw a
What?
building
Still
explode,
kinda makes
but what
sense.
happened? I mean, it does make sense, but it's like, fucking building exploded? Okay.
All right.
I need to...
3, 2, 1.
Holy shit!
Whoa!
Okay, let's try that again. It sounded like I was in ecstasy. Holy shit. I just won't say anything.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Oh no! I can't believe it! Oh no! The greatest dialogue ever. Oh no, I can't believe it. Oh no.
I can't...